Cowan's here. They are joined by Vicente Luque, who's back in action in just over a week's time, facing Ian Garry, UFC 296. Vicente, always a pleasure to get your time. How are things for you today?
What's up, Mike? Man, for me, it's always a pleasure to be here as well, and I'm doing good, excited. Big fight coming up, big card, so I'm excited.
It is a big fight. It's also a first for you because it's always been with the likes of Ian in the room, with the likes of Shavkat, and obviously Gilbert and Kamaru in the room in that KillCliff FC gym. There was always maybe the chance that you'd be fighting a teammate one of these days. Maybe not Gilbert, but a teammate nonetheless. How does it feel to finally be fighting a guy who you spent some time on the mat with?
Yeah, I think it's something that it's kind of it's hard to run away from here at KillCliff. There are so many, talented 170 guys in the division, and yeah, it's part of it. Kamaru and Gilbert did it first. They had that title fight, and as I said, me and Gilbert, that's never gonna happen. We're brothers, but the other guys is different. It's business. We still gotta keep the division moving. A guy that I've trained a lot for this fight is with Shavkat because we're going to be fighting in the same card. And eventually, if it's for a title, we might have to face each other. So it's just part of business. But right now, I get to face Ian Garry, and I think it's going to be an exciting fight for sure.
Out of interest, what was your first reaction when the UFC or your management team came to you and said they want you to fight Ian Garry on December 16th?
So the first reaction, I was excited with the fight. I know that Ian is a, aggressive fighter. He has that style. I like it. And I knew that in a way, he's cool with that. He doesn't take it so personally. So I think my first reaction was, okay, this is a fun fight. But at the same time, I have Henry, that has coached me for so long, has coached Ian for a while as well. And I wanted to make sure that he was good with it. So that was the first talk. I had to talk to him. And he said, he left it up to us. He said to me and to Ian, if we want to fight, we do what we want to do. And he's going to stay out of it. He's not going to take any sides. And after that was all settled, we decided to go through with the fight. And overall, I think I was excited. I think it's a big fight. When I look at the division right now, obviously there are names like maybe, I don't know, up there like Colby and Bilal and other guys that are big names. But right now, I don't think that would be a fight that I would get. But Ian is a guy that, has a lot of hype. He's undefeated. A lot of people are backing him, have this hype train of Ireland. He's going to be the next thing. And I think that's really positive for me. It's a big fight. It's a fight that definitely kind of moves me in the division. A win over him is definitely going to set me up for good things. And the timing is perfect because we have the title fight going on. We have Shavkat and Wonderboy. So it's a big move in the division. So I think I thought it was super important to be moving with the division, to be fighting once again this year. I don't want to finish 2023 just with one fight. So I think it was perfect fight.
100%. Just out of interest as well, because we're talking about you and Ian sharing the mats together, how close, prior to all of this and prior to the actual fight offer when Ian decided to not complete his camp at KillCliff, how close have you guys been in the training room? I know you've been there a little bit longer than Ian, but just whilst you were both there, how close was the training between you two?
Yeah, so we did get to train a lot together, especially maybe 2 years ago. Lately for his last fight, we haven't trained so much. He has been in and out of the gym a lot for his fight with Neil Magny, and before that as well, he trained in Brazil. I think he trained in the UK as well. So kind of we did train a little bit in this last period, but not as much as back in the day where we did spar a lot, we wrestled and we grappled. And yeah, I think that we probably got at least 10 sparring sessions with each other. And we kind of know each other's game. Obviously, I think that fighting is completely different than training. Training is one thing. We can get maybe we can see what the skills are. But fights is a fight, that's different. We hit different. Our speed is different, our attitude. So that's why at the same time, I don't try to base myself on what I train with him because I could even, I could look at that and just say, okay, this is what he has. But he can come in and show me a whole new different game.
Yeah.
So I better be ready for the best Ian Garry, and that's what I'm getting ready for. Even like things that I haven't seen him do, I'll be ready for that as well.
I suppose the advantages and disadvantages of training together are clear. The advantages, you know a little bit of Ian's game. The disadvantages, perhaps Ian knows a little bit of your game. So when you have this kind of situation that you're going into, do you look at having trained together as more of an advantage or a disadvantage?
I think it's kind of I really look at it as it doesn't make that much of a difference. I think that it's kind of like it's still gonna be a fight. I think it makes it more personal in the sense that once we're in there, it's two guys that know each other. And I've had that in rematches. So I rematched Bilal, I rematched Nico Price, I rematched Haider Hassan. And that second fight always felt like I knew them already. I already, got to fight them, got to feel their power, got to, interact with them. So it's different. The second time you fight somebody, you kind of have like a familiarity. And I feel like this is going to be even more because we've trained multiple times together. We have hanged out, we talk to each other, and even in fights, I've been in fight weeks of his, and we have that interaction. So definitely brings like a different kind of sensation. But I think that just I don't think it changes the fight. It might bring another way for me to analyze like his reactions. Maybe we're gonna be, more of I don't know. Maybe he's gonna try to play with mind games or something like that. We never know what's gonna happen. But I think it's just another fight, and it's at the end of the day, I just go in there and do what I do with whoever it is. That's the only thing I know how to do. Go in there and give my best and fight hard.
And talking about doing what you do, when you look at this fight, you look at actual take away personal relationships. When you look at the style versus style matchup, where do you see your key advantages in this one?
So I think that like this is a striker versus striker battle, but with that said, I feel like I'm the more complete and the more experienced fighter. So I have many over 30 fights, over 5 years in the UFC. So it's just like I see that I have to use these tools, in my favor. I have to dictate the rhythm, dictate the pace, know when to play the MMA game, but at the same time, like I do feel I can go out there and strike against him. I know, like I felt it in training since the beginning. I've always said, a lot to a lot of people, this kid is extremely talented. He's an extremely good striker. So I know how good his striking is. I still think that I could go in there and give him trouble in the striking. So that's where the fight starts. So that's gonna be the first thing, go in there, feel what the striking is like, look for my openings, try to make him feel my power. And if I see a moment where I can mix it up, I'll mix it up. I know that he trains a lot now. He has trained in Brazil, so he's working on his grappling as well. But I do believe I have the advantage on that. So it might be an interesting card to play if I see the opportunity. But I don't know. I just feel like when I see my striking, his striking, I feel like we're gonna go to battle in the stand up for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. A minute or so ago, you mentioned the word mind games, and we've seen this be a tactic that Ian has used in previous fights. We saw the mugshot T-shirt of Jeff Neal. We saw the personal attack on Neil Magny in his last Laos outing. I know there was an Instagram comment, I believe, on one of your posts of you getting baptized, where he said something about you. Are you expecting Neil to turn that up, to make that more intense over the next 10 days, or do you think there'll be a kind of a laying off, given that you have trained together and are friends?
I don't know. I think I try not to anticipate, so I'm not, kind of, let's say, I'm ready for everything, and at the end of the day, I know what I can control my attitude, and what I'm gonna be is what I've always been, a respectful person, a respectful fighter, and I do respect Ian not only because he's a fellow fighter. I know that he works hard, but also I know him personally. I think he's a nice guy in many different ways. So I do respect him, and I always wish the best for everybody that I've worked with and I will work in the future. So that's gonna be what I can control. And whatever he wants to do, if he wants to take an opportunity to, I don't know, try to mess with my mind or try to sell the fight, that's on him. If that's on his behavior, on whatever he wants to do, what he wants to show the world. What I want to show is respect, show the sport. I'm all about this sport. I'm all about MMA. I think that this fight is sold, but by pure the skills and the talent that we have as fighters. I've shown time and time again what I can do in that octagon. Ian has shown that he is, definitely a dangerous fighter and very exciting fighter. And I think that by itself sells the fight. So I'm good with it. I'm good with just talking inside the octagon. And I'll let him do whatever he wants, whatever makes him feel good.
It is pretty strange over the last couple of days and weeks how it seems like Ian has slowly become the most publicised star in the sport. I mean, we've seen the rumours of the potentially being kicked out of Team Renegade over here in Britain. We've seen the controversy surrounding his wife. We've obviously seen the rumours of potentially being knocked out in KillCliff, which I'm not expecting you to get into, but just give me an overall reaction to all the publicity surrounding Ian and that kind of whirlwind over the last couple of weeks.
I think it's tough, especially like the family part is something that bothers me because, it doesn't matter whatever happens, it's his family. I'm sure that he loves them, and I think that that's really disrespectful. So I hope, that he can just, get over all this and not take it into him and into his personal, feelings. But with that said, I know that Ian is a guy that is really, he's outspoken. He speaks about people. The whole neo-magny thing went to another level, to another proportion. So at the same time, I'm like, okay, when you talk, you got to be willing to listen as well, and I feel like that's going on a little bit. He created a lot of hate towards neo-magny, and now maybe he's getting a lot of hate towards him. I imagine that he probably knows how to handle it because that's kind of his way. So I just hope that he's good and he's ready for the fight because that's what really matters right now. We get in there, and I'm going there to get that win and really to put on the pressure on him. So hopefully he's ready and he's gonna give me the hardest fight he can.
What's the sentiment like in KillCliff about Ian? I mean, as we saw Brendan Allen come out and kind of give quite a vicious comment. I think he leaked that rumor of him potentially being knocked out in sparring. Is there the potential that after this fight that he would be allowed back in the gym, or what is your opinion on that in the overall vibe towards Ian in KillCliff itself?
Yeah, I mean, I think a team like KillCliff is a tough environment in the sense that it's a lot of good guys training together, and that brings a lot of like I don't know how I could say, like, fighters. We're not just, it's a contact sport, and we're tough guys. So there is certain things that we find disrespectful. I'm sure that a lot of guys did not appreciate the comment he did in my Instagram. I myself, like, I did feel that that's a disrespect. I'm not gonna take it personally, but I did feel like, hey, I was doing something that was really important for me. I posted about it, and he chose to make fun or whatever out of it, So I was like, okay. And I'm sure that many guys, look at that and, hey, he was a teammate from us, and now he's fighting against one of us, and now he just decides to change, his attitude. So I think that bothers a lot of people. But with that said, I don't know. Maybe at the end, when everything's said and done, he can work a way, to go back into the team and train. I know that Henry respects him a lot as a fighter. He likes and has trained him for so long. So I know that Henry has, good feelings towards him. Obviously, at this moment, it's a complicated situation because he decided to train elsewhere and well, do what he's doing, and it's hard. It's hard to say. Like, Kamaru eventually came back and now trains with us every once in a while. He still has, his work over there in Colorado whenever he has a fight. But he had Henry in his last fight, cornering him again. So it's something that with time, I don't know if Ian wants to get back to the team. I think eventually maybe he can get back. But right now, I think everybody's kind of like, I'm the guy in the team. so everybody has my back, and I really appreciate that, because I just feel like, yeah, it's good to be part of a team like KillCliff that I've been for so long with these guys. We've had different names in all these years, but it's still the same crew, and have all these guys supporting me is always really positive.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I guess kind of turning the conversation back to yourself, obviously you came off the massive win against RDA back in August, I believe ranked number 8, facing number 10 in just over a week's time. What do you feel a win over Ian Garry next Saturday does for you in the welterweight division?
And I think that a win over Ian is a perfect way to close out the year, in the sense that we have two big fights going on in the division that day. And right now, the division, after Kamaru lost the title, I feel like the division is open. So the more I can fight guys like Ian, which are like, even if you see like what's going on now, everybody has eyes on this fight. No matter if it's like for good reasons or bad reasons, people are looking at the fight. And I feel like that's what we need right now to move in this division. So I get to fight now. I get to close out the year. I'm going there, to have a dominant win, and hopefully I'm going to come out of that octagon victorious. And with all that going as I plan, it will. I think next year it sets me up, to have a fight in the top 5, and maybe, 1, 2 fights away from a title fight, depending on what happens, with the title and everything. So definitely, yeah, I think it's a big fight, and that's why I was so excited to take it.
Is there any more motivation attached to this fight, knowing that you're fighting on the same night as the welterweight title, the actual belt in your division will be on the line? I suppose that must be quite motivating, knowing that a couple of hours after your fight, the title that you want to attain will be on the line.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's definitely motivating. I mean, everybody's gonna have an eyes, and even like everybody that watches the welterweight division is gonna be watching because of the title fight. But they are gonna be watching also the guys that come before that, and that's me. And I think that definitely it's a great moment to fight. It's a great card to be in, and also I get to watch these guys fighting. After I fight, I'm gonna get to watch them fight. So that's gonna be nice also to have an eye on them. Just see how these guys perform, and see how my future opponents are doing.
Who do you see taking home the welterweight strap? Do you think Leon makes the second defense of his title, or do you think Colby finally claims the title on his third attempt?
I gotta go with Leon. I've been in there with Leon. I know how good he is, and that was years ago. Now he's coming off 2 wins against, for me, one of the best welterweights ever in Kamaru. So it's just a great moment he's living. And Colby is tough. Colby has shown how tough he is so many times. And yeah, he has been out for a while, and in other times he has looked good after being out for a while, but I just feel it's different. I think he's 35 now. That's different. He's more advanced in age. He has been out for a long time. He's not going to be facing an easy opponent. So I just think it's a better moment for Leon. That's why I go with him. And obviously Colby can go in there and give him trouble, give him a hard time. But if I have to bet, on it, I'll go the safe route. And for me, the safe route is Leon Edwards.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, last one from me, Vicente, and as always, to really do appreciate your time. Obviously the win is the prime focus next Saturday, but I guess past that, what are you looking to prove when you face off against Ian Garry on December 16th?
I think, from now on for a while, starting with the RDA fight, I think I just want to keep on showing everybody all the skills that I have. I think for a while everybody knew like I'm tough. I can go out there and I have power to knock anybody out. But I have so much more and so many more skills that I can develop and I can show. And I feel like RDA, that's where I started. I can wrestle. I can dominate a fight for 5 rounds against a former champion. And now I get to face a young prospect that is very talented. And I want to show, all my tools in that as well. So yeah, just keep on showing all of my abilities. And as always, what has always been a big thing for me, put on a good show, put on a good fight, because I enjoy doing that.
I love it. Well, Vicente, it's always great to catch up with you. It's even better to see you back in action in this big fight against Ian Garry next Saturday. Have a great rest of your camp, and I wish you the best of luck for fight night.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Take care.